And a lot of people have a certain perspective of Dana White. They think he's like deep state MMA. You know, they think he's into that population control with the slap fighting and whatnot. And I could see him feeding certain fighters like John Jones into that narrative because he doesn't like that fool.
Hey, don't forget to do algorithm stuff.
Dana White does not hate Francis Ngannou. He just loves money. And I don't know what fools don't understand about that. It's very simple. Everything's superficial. It's clicks and it's narratives and it's sponsors and it's advertisements and it's watch time. Please watch to the end of the video, by the way. But that has nothing to do with this. That's coincidental. Dana White has nothing but love for money. Francis Ngannou, he's a variable. He's only a pawn in their game. That's it. He's a placeholder. People are over here scratching their beanies like, wait a minute, Dana. Wait a minute. You didn't want to let Ngannou do this. You don't want to give him that. You don't want to give him that fight. You didn't want to let him box. You don't want to let him do this under the umbrella. You don't want to have any gimmick fights. You didn't want to have freak shows. You don't want to go down that Jake Paul route. But you're going to let John Jones do it? Now look, here's the narrative that's been given to us. Dana White hates Francis Ngannou. And he said he was going to do this or that he offered that, but they lied and they showed those receipts and they showed those text messages and they were talking about this, but they said that that never happened and he didn't want to let him do that and he was trying to burn them and I know there's a bunch of fools out there doing that legwork with their little press pass and their notepads and their Zoom recorders, flirting with all the fighters and giving them little Pikachu jackets and stuff like that, putting in that work, but they're all saying the same thing. And my role in this community, in this MMA community, I just stand back and look, I'm not usually the one breaking the news, all right? I'm not usually the one there finding out what's happening. I'm the one that's like, all right, say all that you gotta say. Are you guys done? Hey, first question, dude, you said you done? Anybody else want to chime in real quick? Pink jacket dude, are you here? Nobody? All right, now let me tell you what's really happening. All right, let me swim through all this nonsense right here. All right, MMA truthers unite. Let me tell you what's up. And I know it's exciting to think about. The dude in charge, Dana White, beefing with one of the fighters is kind of like old school, you know, like Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It kind of takes me back a little bit and it gives us something to talk about, you know, when we got these high level chess matches, which, you know, basically means boring fights and dudes rolling on the ground forever. It was like, wait, I saw this on EBI last time. This is actually very technical. Look, I know it looks boring. It looks really slow and boring, but trust me, this is so exciting right now. Do you know what he did right now? I did that in class last night. Look, let me wait. Hey, wake up. Wait. See how exciting this is? When you got fights going on like that constantly, even at the highest level. Ironically, it's usually at the highest level because they're so high level. It's just like a little, you know, back and forth and nobody really gets the upper hand because they're so evenly matched. A little too evenly matched, if you ask me. This is just a side note right here. I think the UFC will be way better and way more exciting if the most highest ranked guys in the division fought the lowest ranked guys all the time and they just kind of met in the middle like this. That will make for the, like, I know for them being champions and getting bouts and stuff like that, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense, but for the viewers, unbelievable. So I know it's entertaining to think about it and to talk about it and to look forward to it, to watch it and witness and observe this suit. You got MMA Thanos over here, the guy that's supposed to be in the corner office. Why is he beefing with this dude that hits like a Ford truck? This dude is coming out here like a rock. Oh, like a rock. We're like, why is he trying to fight with this guy? It's crazy. It's insanity. But I can't stop watching. By the way, if you are in a kind of older demographic and you know your history, you know that the like a rock thing has nothing to do with Ford, but it fits into my narrative right now. So all that's entertaining, right? It's entertaining, but guess what? I'm not here to entertain you. That's not what I do here. I'm here to provide you with the MMA truth. That's what I'm here for. And if I happen to coincidentally be entertaining in any way whatsoever, cool, that's a bonus. I'm gonna be here giving you the facts. I'm over here with my fax machine. It's right here off camera. It's a beep, beep, and I'm letting you know what's up right here. That's what I'm bringing to you. I'm not trying to entertain you, but after I impart all of this wisdom, after I lace you up at the video, at the end, I'm like, hey, have you guys been entertained at all? Have you been somewhat entertained? Are you in a state of entertaining satisfaction. But that's just a byproduct of me just talking about what's going on. And what's going on is very simple. That Francis Ngannou was the champion, heavyweight champion, lineal champion, baddest dude on the planet and whatnot. And Tyson Fury wanted to box him. And the biggest problem was Francis Ngannou wanted to box him back. Apparently, Francis Ngannou grew up wanting to be a boxer, wanting to box all the time. That was his dream when he was over there in his homeland. And look, I understand that. Now, when you see Francis Ngannou here and now, when you see Francis Ngannou fighting today, it's like, hey, fool, why are you trying to box? Like, come on, dude. Like, that's like Michael Jordan. He's like, I'm such a good basketball player. Let me try to go do the Daytona 500. I think I'll be good at that too. It's like, just stay where you're at, fool. Like, what are you doing? And I could kind of understand that because the age that Francis Ngannou is, and in the place that he grew up, and they probably didn't have TVs and stuff like that, he didn't know nothing about MMA. Like, even when I was a little kid, I grew up fully being able to see, like, I had full access to be able to see the UFC. UFC 1, 1993. I had full access to be able to see it, witness it, be able to know exactly what it was. Like, oh, this is way different than boxing. And I didn't come along till like way later in the game. I was watching WWF. I was watching Doink fighting Crush at Caesar's Palace. Like, I was watching Tatanka and Yokozuna. I didn't know nothing about this. So imagine Francis Ngannou over there where he's at. He's not gonna know nothing about MMA, about mixed martial arts. He just sees dudes over there going hands. That's all that he knows. So I get that it's a dream. It's this thing that's just been within him from the start that he doesn't really want to let go. He doesn't want to go his whole career and be like, I never even got to do that thing that I wanted to do in the first place. But that's kind of like your homie, you know, that's like, I could have been in the major leagues. I was supposed to be a baseball player, but remember one time at PE, that thing with my shoulder? Remember when Samantha, she jumped on, I was giving her a piggyback ride, and then her boyfriend was coming around, and then I dipped her real quick, and I moved weird, and then I could have been on the Oakland A's. I should have been. And then so now he just goes to Blackbeard's on the weekends and just hits up the batting cages. Hey, Francis Ngannou, hit up the batting cages, fool. Don't go toe-to-toe with one of the greatest, probably, maybe the greatest boxer of all time. Go to the equivalent of the batting cages, fool. You want to do a boxing match, go box Jake Paul. That's one way to think about it. It's like, what are you doing? You made this career for yourself in MMA. You did so good. You're the champion. You're the scary dude. Look at what you did to Overeem. Fool spent their entire career under Reem. Look at what you did to Overeem. You made that fool a meme. You're like the baddest man on the planet or whatnot. They got Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is in the crowd, and all these fools have the audacity to call you the baddest man on the planet in front of Mike Tyson. And now you're willing to go into the boxing ring and go from being the baddest man on the planet, even in front of, if you're the baddest man on the planet and Mike Tyson is not in the room, that's one thing. But when you're considered the baddest man on the planet with Mike Tyson in the room, that's a different level. And then you're gonna be willing to go from that to being, you're a meme now. You're a meme now. Somebody over-reamed you. But then there's another way to think about it. Wait a minute. What about Deontay Wilder? What about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury? What happened in that first fight? Look at, he made that fool the Undertaker. Look at what happened to that flat-footed, horse stance looking fighting dude that can only win because of his punching power. I wonder who else with flat-footed, funky stances, weird technique. I wonder what other crazy natural freak could win a fight like that just because of his punching power. Oh, this might be like the only situation in which this could ever possibly work ever. What a coinkadink. We want to make fun of him and we want to say that dude's gonna die. He's gonna lose. But look at what Deontay Wilder did to Tyson Fury in that first match. Look at how close he came. Tyson Fury could have ended up like one of those dudes on TBN saying that he went to hell and like coming back trying to warn his loved ones and whatnot. Deontay Wilder sent him on an existential adventure. But even more than that, even beyond that, you got Deontay Wilder and you got Francis Ngannou, and you're like, the technique and the skill and just the stances, everything is funky. But hey, think about it even further. It's even more than that. It's not equivalent. It's not equal. You think about the technique or lack thereof with Francis Ngannou, and it's wild, right? It's wild. But Deontay is wilder. It has to be considered. If Deontay Wilder was able to do what he did to Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou might be able to do the same thing, if not more. It's a thing within the community that we all know about. We watch Deontay Wilder fight and we laugh. It's humorous to watch. The dude fights like a meme. It's funny. And he still does what he does. We watch Francis Ngannou, and I know that dude's flat-footed. Francis Ngannou and Deontay Wilder are both about as flat-footed as the Incredible Hulk right here. That's about how flat-footed they are right there. Okay, so I think Francis Ngannou is actually a little bit more flat-footed. He's probably more flat-footed than the Incredible Hulk. But my point is, when we watch Deontay Wilder fight and we watch Francis Ngannou fight, we laugh less at Ngannou. I think we got to be honest with ourselves. I think if Deontay Wilder had the shot that he had against Tyson Fury, which came as close as you could possibly get, depending on who the ref was, that fight could have easily went to Deontay Wilder. If Keith, no nonsense, Peterson was reffing that fight, Deontay Wilder would have won that fight. Maybe even Herb Dean. You got to think about it that way. You have to think about it that way. The ref plays a crucial role. And Deontay Wilder could have easily been the winner of that fight. So I know a lot of people out there don't want the fight. And they feel bad for Ngannou, but don't. Because he has a better chance than the dude that came the closest ever to beating him. And at the end of the day, who cares about winning? Who cares about, well, Francis Ngannou might care, but like the big picture, who? Because that dude is walking away with times and times and times over, his manager said, he might be lying, but who knows, times and times and times over what he ever made in all his UFC fights combined. I think I read somewhere it might be like 30, upwards of 30 million. You tell me, if there was someone in front of you, and it doesn't even have to be Tyson Fury, anybody that will make you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm gonna win this, I don't feel good about this, but you knew that you were gonna walk away with 30 million. Who cares? And if you care, you're crazy. Francis, well, not crazy. I know there's some people that I wouldn't like that either. But for the most part, I mean, you'll get over it. You'll buy the pain away. You know, Francis Ngannou, even if he knows he's gonna lose, he's probably walking into the limo heading to the fight like, I'm gonna lose today. I'm gonna lose today, but even when I lose, I win. It's all good. $30 million, he's gonna wipe the tears away with $100 bills. That's something that you gotta think about, not only in the fight game, but like anything you're doing in life. It always reminds me of that one scene from La Bamba, where that dude wanted to sign Richie Valens. And he's like, no, I don't do nothing without my band. These are my guys right here. And then, like, I'm paraphrasing big time right here, but then the dude was like, hey, fool, are you like living for them or are you living for your family? Because like if you sign, your family is set. Like we're talking about your mom and your brothers and your grandma and your whatever, they're set. So what do you care about, these dudes right here, or do you care about your? And he's like, my family. I gotta choose my family. Same thing with Francis Ngannou. It's like, do you want to be considered the baddest man on the planet, and do you want to give in to the peer pressure, and do you want to be able to say that you beat John Jones and you got paid $10,000 or whatever, but wow, you got the reputation? Or do you want to have that generational type of wealth and take care of your people? But the part that everybody's thinking about is Dana White. The beef between Dana White and Francis Ngannou, that's like what's the most exciting and appealing to everybody. What's going on right there? How did that happen? You got to understand that it's not like you think it is. It's not like the people are feeding it to you. And Dana White will go ahead and go along with it and feed into it even more, because more drama is more clicks and more money and more better. But that's not the truth. The truth is Dana White doesn't hate Ngannou. He wasn't trying to disrespect him and he wasn't trying to burn him. He was trying to protect the investment. He doesn't want to send his big bad fighter to a boxer, to a less dimensional fighter, and get embarrassed, and then his promotion is a laughing stock. He doesn't want to go back in time and everyone's like, yeah, we told you boxing was better. He doesn't want to do that, especially when he's maybe closer and closer and closer to his way out. And he thought, if I feed my biggest, baddest, scariest dude to a boxer and he gets beat, I'm a laughing stock. I'm embarrassed. I'm done for, because Dana White's not on my level. And he wasn't like, well, what about Wilder? And Wilder did, and he fights funny too. And look at how he stands. And he only wins because of power. But wait, that's how Ngannou wins. But look at what he did to Stipe Muchacho. He doesn't think about stuff like that. Dana White was thinking, I can't send this variable, I can't send this pawn into this fight and embarrass me and my company. Well, then why is he willing to do it with John Jones? Because that fool doesn't like John Jones. Dana White doesn't like John Jones. That's why every time he gets on the mic, he takes the opportunity to disrespect him. He's like, well, I hope he's not in Las Vegas, is he? Oh no, everybody put the beer away. He's not in oh man, what did he do? Somebody better send him home. Whose idea was it for him to be in Las Vegas? And look, I'm not trying to take sides. I know I'm making it sound goofy right now. I think both those dudes have some work to do in their lives. I'm being very diplomatic right now. But Dana White's always taking any opportunity to, clown on him a little bit and kind of talk down on him and, act like he's not in control of his life and like he doesn't know how to act like a mature, responsible adult. And then that dude's ruined so many events over the years and press conferences, and then he tested for this and that, and now we got to figure out what to do with this bout and that event and this fight, and I don't know what's going on. And you know DC is Dana White's dude. He's a company man. And the fact that DC is still on the mic, look, DC's my guy. I've been rooting for him for the longest. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. But on the microphone, I'm telling you, I might prefer listening to Taylor Swift on the microphone before DC. But that's all it was. Dana White wasn't willing to feed this dude, this pawn, to this other thing because he didn't want to embarrass his promotion. But when it's John Jones, he's like, I'll do it. What about your promotion? Well, I just say he was drunk. What about, he's your scariest? They said he's the GOAT. He's the pound for pound. How did he go into this boxing match with this much less dimensional fighter and lose? He's probably drunk. He was probably, doing stuff till 5 a.m. and he was on this and that, narcotic and inebriating. He's probably fighting like a few ladies and he's probably tired and he went into didn't get enough sleep. Yeah, he's a laughingstock. Yeah, he messed up again. It's easy to write that one off. You can't do that with Ngannou because that dude's straight. But if it's John Jones, it's like, yeah, he's, he was partying all night and doing this and that. He's a dummy. He threw his life away. He had so much potential. It's an easy out. It's an easy out. Dana White's trying to set that fool up and John Jones don't see it. It's always going to be like this. When you got human beings involved with their own agendas and their own plans and their own goals, and then you got a bunch of dudes with microphones and notepads trying to relay that to other people, and they're trying to get clicks, and the people are bored and they're trying to fight. There's always going to be papas. There's always going to be drama. There's always going to be conflict. And guess what? Even though we talk about how it's bad and it's dumb and it's ruining the sport, it's entertaining and we're still watching. And I got a question for you. Are you even at least a little bit entertained?